The time is 16 minutes to 7, and the main headline this morning is that students are getting their A-level results and are expected to have a wealth of choice as universities scramble to fill courses. And if you are looking for a university place over the next few hours and you go to Leeds Beckett University's website, you'll be greeted by Becky. Becky is a chatbot, not a person. But Leeds Beckett and other universities as well are increasing the use of this technology. They say it makes the system more efficient and actually more pleasant for the person getting in touch. Steve Worswick is a chatbot designer, and he came on the line along with Tracy Lancaster, who is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor at Leeds Beckett University.
Becky, the chatbot, is something that an applicant can choose to use. So she's able to take on a lot of the very straightforward communications that we get from students who want to understand whether the qualifications they've got qualifies them for one of our courses, or want to find out more information about accommodation, or just want to know a little bit more about Leeds. But they know right from the beginning they're choosing to use the chatbot as a precursor really to having a conversation with a human.
Right, and it is a precursor. You can't go all the way to getting a place at Leeds Beckett via the chat box.
You can go as far as getting a provisional offer, but that's provisional on a human then checking out your application.
And Steve, this is the right way to use them, isn't it?
This is a perfect way to use them, yes. It's going to free up the human operators to deal with more complicated queries. I'm certainly glad that there is at least a human in the loop rather than it going all the way through to signing them up for an actual course.
And what about the idea some of the people using these chatbots might be quite disappointed with their results today? They might be a bit upset. Does that side of it, is it actually sometimes easier then to deal with something is a machine than it would be with a human?
Yes, but from my experience, anyway, I found that a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable talking to computers than real people, especially if it's fairly confidential things, or if people are having trouble at work or at home, bullying at school. A lot of the time, it's kind of almost like a church confessional, where we can just get things off the chest to a shoulder to cry on type thing, almost like writing a diary, I suppose.
Yeah, and that makes it particularly useful today of all days, I guess, Tracy.
It does. But I think we have to balance that against making sure that we're enabling young people to make the right decision for themselves. So whilst I absolutely agree with Steve, we are seeing more and more young people using social media in that way and using, as you say, automated communications in that way. It's still really important that they're able to interact with the people that are the real people that are part of the university community as part of that decision-making process. So whilst Becky might be a precursor to considering Leeds Beckett as your university of choice, we're still offering an opportunity to come onto campus at open days, to talk to our real academics and our real administrators at the university. So I think it's a complementary communication tool as opposed to something that replaces that human contact.
And Steve, is that your view too, as someone who's invented award-winning chatbots, that actually in the end, if it's something like this interaction we're talking about this morning with universities, there needs to be a human? We're not going to replace that human.
No, that's right. It should be, a tool to help the human deal with the customer. I mean, a lot of people seem to think, these things are going to sort of take over the world and all this type of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing could be further from the truth. It's like being, afraid of a calculator because it can do maths quicker than a human. It's a tool for a job, and it's the ideal tool. I've seen some, in customer services, where these highly trained people, some of the questions were asked day after day is what time do you open, or where are the toilets? And it's frustrating for them. So if chatbots can take over those kind of mundane queries and pass on to the customer service reps the more advanced queries, is this the correct university course for me, and things like that, I think that's an ideal use for tools like this.
And Tracy, what happens to the information that the bot contains then, that the bot gathers about you? Because that might be another concern of people's.
Of course. I mean, and obviously we've had the new GDPR data protection legislation change in May this year. So everything that we've developed at Leeds Beckett is absolutely conforms to that. So we keep that data with the same level of protection as you would expect any other sort of data.
Right. You're not going to share it with anyone you shouldn't do.
Absolutely not.
Tracy Lancaster and Steve Worswick as well. Thanks both very much.
A pleasure.
Thank you.